dear to my heart. But I'm sure I see a lot of creative people in the room here. And I'd like to talk about inspiration. Where do we get inspiration? How do we find inspiration? What is it exactly? Great architect and teacher Louis Kahn has chosen the word silence to define the force that propels the creative spirit forward toward the light. So inspiration happens somewhere between the silence and the light. The Greeks and Romans thought they had it figured out. They developed a very democratic system of an aesthetic code that would be applied to all their buildings. But we look at this and maybe we see a drive-through bank or a house. The artist Van Gogh was painting here a very simple pair of farmer's boots that lent toward the honesty and integrity of the simple object. So I'd like to go through a couple of projects that I've worked on through the years and just talk about the inspiration, and then we'll see the final product. This school, McKinley High School, is one of the Buffalo schools. A very strong program in horticulture and the building trades. And so we wanted to put a building together that could exemplify some of that and use it as a teaching moment for the students. The building is kind of an interesting location between the Buffalo grid and where the Black Rock grid come together. It's bisected by Sejacklet Creek here. And the building sort of looks back at the Birchfield Penny Tower, the Birchfield Tower. The building incorporates a number of different materials, terracotta, metal panel, a horticulture garden in the front of the building. And you can see some of the exposed structure we've used, and you can see in the classrooms here the exposed structure as a way of learning back to the students. And if you look way in the distance, you can actually see the tower of Rockwell Hall in the background. This was an interesting project. Up at Niagara Wheatfield High School, we put together a project. This was designed in the 70s by Perkins and Will. It's a series of pods, these classroom pods that were sort of bisected by glass walkways. And the idea sort of gave us this thought about grain. The grain of the building, we used as a design partie that took us through the entire structure as we went through the different scales. You can see this kind of grain going through the building. And the modeling of the daylight in this building was a very important feature to us. So really adding strategically placed sunscreens and being able to control the daylight in the buildings is a very important aspect. We took this idea of grain all the way through the building, being able to use it at different scales, the idea that it's in the floor patterns and the lighting, and even integrating that into the building signage in the hallways as well. It sort of permeates the entire plan. At the Buffalo State Science Building, we were talking to a number of the scientists that worked in the building and talking about geology, the texture of the Niagara Gorge, physics, the way light is refracted, and even using the sort of golden section in the Fibonacci series as a guide to the design of the building. You can see the way that hundreds of students flow through this building on their way from the dormitories into the central campus. And we've deflected the plan a little bit here to introduce a sense of discovery and movement. You can see the way the building here has a textured facade to pick up on that idea of the gorge and geology, and the idea of the proportioning system of the golden section integrated into the building. And at Upton Hall, a recent project that we worked on. It was designing a space for designers, which was probably one of the most challenging projects that I've worked on in my career. We thought of the creative process as this kind of series of layers, sort of unpeeling the layers of the building, an old 1960s building, and sort of peeling it apart and revealing the structure in the plan. So you can see these curved walls are able to sort of peel the building away. So it was important as well to expose this building to the community because it's a real hidden gem in Buffalo, the program itself. So just to conclude, Frank Lloyd Wright, when asked what his favorite building was, said the next one.